Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is January 11, 2019. I'm your host, Mike. Today we really want to get into a wide variety of topics. I shouldn't say a wide variety of topics, I'm lying. One of the hot topics right now in the news is this whole Surviving R. Kelly series. So, of course, I got to speak on it. I'm probably going to be attacking that topic on a different angle than what's the popular opinion out there. Another topic I wanted to touch on as well was recently Terry Crews came out, kind of going at Kevin Hart regarding his comments or regarding, his lack of apology. I guess the 4, 5, 6 times that he apologized to the LGBTQ community wasn't enough. And Terry Crews has issue with that. So I want to also break that down, unpack that, and get into that. So we got a few things we want to talk about today. But number one thing, the big thing that I'm excited to talk about, I shouldn't say excited to talk about because it's a pretty grim topic, but my perspective on it, I want to kind of get out there. And it's the whole Surviving R. Kelly series thing. So basically what I wanted to say on that, what my perspective on that was, or is that R. Kelly is a sick, disgusting human being. We all know that. If you grew up, I'm 30 years old, I just turned 30, God bless November. If you grew up around my age, you more than likely, unfortunately, saw that tape. You knew it was R. Kelly. We knew this was a young woman. We just, the man peed on her. It's fact. This man, that happened. That was, however many years ago that happened. That happened for sure. So my thing is this. If at that time, we already knew this. The black community knew for a long time. We've been making jokes. It's been in our different media for a long time. They've been joking about it in Boondocks. They joked about it. Dave Chappelle joked about it. We've all known about these R. Kelly allegations. So when all of a sudden Lifetime, who I'm already looking at suspect, let's be honest, does Lifetime really have the best, does Lifetime really have what's best for the black community at the forefront of their mind? Probably. Nah, probably not. And do we really want to get into the top owner of Lifetime and what's the guy's name? Bob Iger, and the fact that he himself is dealing with sexual allegation charges that we've never even heard about, the parent owner of Lifetime. So it's a lot of interesting things going on with that. But I just think with the R. Kelly situation, what I find the most interesting is that the reason why I call this and what I want to use is fake outrage is because it seems like we already knew about this situation. There's no real new information that came out. And now that we saw it on a Lifetime documentary, now everybody is up in arms. And what conversation has taken place come out from this whole R. Kelly thing? Well, the black woman is the most unprotected woman, and the black man's not doing this, and da-da-da. That was the goal of Lifetime. That was the goal of this corporation, is essentially to cause issues in the community. And I know a lot of black people are saying, well, I get that. And yeah, that may be true. And yeah, we are conspired against a lot of times. And they do try to paint black people and black men and women out to be, ugly predators and overly sexualized people and things. Yeah, I get it. But I don't like R. Kelly. And in this case, we should ignore the overall. We should get off code and ignore the overall agenda that's taking place against us. We should get off code, and because it's R. Kelly, we have to have extra emphasis and get extra fake outrage out of nowhere and act like we didn't know that all these things was already happening or already happened, and we didn't know the truth about this. And then you fast forward to today, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out things like, well, what are these allegations with these current women talking about? There's adult women today talking about he has some sex cult and things like that, and I'm trying to figure that next thing out. And I'm just like, well, as the days go by, these women seem to be getting exposed as far as, this man was R. Kelly. Was he on some pimping, I'm the king type stuff? I got my harem of women around. Yeah. Now, was these women handcuffed to beds and couldn't leave and all this other stuff? Absolutely not. Let's be honest. These women were completely, they were dealing with a controlling man 100%. That man was giving them money. That man was paying for this and that. And so with that exchange comes control. I mean, if it was my sister, do I co-sign? Hell no, completely not. But we have to say what it is. And there's a point where also personal responsibility for these adult women has to take into effect. Like, how can I just say I don't have to be responsible as an adult and I went to R. Kelly's house, and I was hanging out there for a long time, and he was paying for all this stuff, and he held me there. Like, what? Like, I'm sorry, fam. I have a hard time believing that. And I know the whole thing today is, oh, just believe whatever a woman says, but I have to think objectively. Like, we're in the wake of the Reuben Foster era, where Reuben Foster just got caught up with a second allegation from his ex-girlfriend that was dismissed. And the first one that was dismissed, she admitted that she was lying. Simply just go off of whatever, a person says and says, oh, this is truth. In any case, whether that's a man, a woman, a black man, a black woman, in any case, just like my man, at Justin Blue said the other day, you got to put pro-righteousness before you put pro-black, or else you're going to end up supporting bullshit. So it's very important that we, try to analyze each situation for what it is and see what's going on and try to look at the deeper meaning. What I find interesting, though, is that a lot of times I constantly hear black people complain about, oh, we're the most oppressed people and these things are being done to us and everybody's conspiring against us and all these different things. And then when you show them real life conspiracies that are currently being done against you, they say, oh, no, it's not that. It's something else. It's some other stuff. And I'm like, no, this is a conspiracy against you, brother. This is a conspiracy against you, sister. They say, no, it's a one-off or something like that. And I really feel like black people have like we have like a lack of ability to be able to see the obvious that is being done against us. There's certain situations where I'm looking online and I constantly see black men and black women going at it, arguing with each other constantly on some like gender war bullshit. And what I think about that, and I see that and I think like, I have never, let me not say it never happens, but I just I'm maybe not aware. But I never really see my Asian or Filipino guys or my Hispanic buddies and the Indian cats I know. I don't see these people arguing with their women back and forth. I don't see it. Only the black man and black women are going back and forth, arguing. This one, you a rat, you a thug, you a da-da-da. Like, I don't understand how people don't see the link between the issues that we have as black people and the issues that we have between each other. Like, there's already enough issues in the world that are caused by outside forces. Then on the inside, we then turn that into arguing with each other. We then say, well, yeah, it is the black man's fault, or it is the black woman's fault, and all this other stuff. And an example of that recently, and like I said, I wanted to speak on, is the black woman is the most unprotected woman. Now, is the black woman the most unprotected woman in America? Of course, the black woman is the most unprotected woman in America. But why is that? It's because her black man is also the most unprotected man in America. So what happens when the person who is charged with making sure you're protected is he himself unprotected? Like, let's be honest. Black boys are not going to the justice system and getting a more fair shake than black girls. Black boys are not getting all these different programs and things like that to help them out versus black girls. Like, no one's making a concerted effort to make sure that black boys are doing better than black girls. So why are we having these issues? Where do these issues come from? Like, I don't understand how we don't see the fact that anytime as a black man I'm arguing with a black woman about issues, first specifically in public, like, that's another thing. That's a whole different thing. That's the worst thing. We argue about our issues in public. Like, how does that make us look in other groups? We want to talk about unprotected. How are these other groups going to respect us and look at us as protectors of our community when our women are telling us online and going back and forth and bashing us, and we're going back and forth with our women? Like, let's be honest, that's not true. We have to analyze the issues that we have in the black community and see what we can do to fix these issues. And for example, like I said, if black women are the most unprotected women, then what do we do to fix that? Well, the black man, first of all, has to be there to protect them. Number two, the black woman also has to accept protection. We can't have this thing where on one end women are running around saying, well, I'm an independent woman, I'm strong, I could do it by my own and all this other stuff, and then also seek the protection of the man. Like, that doesn't work. In today's society, everything as far as what responsibility, I always see being put on the man. And of course, it's going to sound biased because I'm a man, but this is what I see. Everything is the man's fault as far as critique, like the man. So if a man says, look, yes, we are in jail, we'll take responsibility for that. Yes, we're selling drugs, we'll take responsibility for that. Yes, we're murdering each other, we'll take responsibility for that. So we'll take responsibility and say that we're going to fix that. But then when we do that, what can we as men hold our women accountable to? Like, I always hear about what a man is required to do for a woman, and not even just his woman, the average woman, the regular day walking around woman in the street. A man is just, by virtue of him being a man, he owes the everyday random woman in the street something. So I asked the question, well, in reverse, what does that woman owe that man? Because you can't have a situation where, as a man, I'm supposed to be charged with protecting the average woman in the street, yet the average woman is not expected to, in return, to do anything for me. And then you could have that situation, but then that same average woman who, wants my protection, doesn't do anything for me, I'm supposed to be risk my life at any time for this woman, would also wants to be seen on equal level or maybe even above the man. How does that happen? How does that work? Like, is it a sexist thought to think rationally and say, like, there's no way you can say, I want to be protected by a group of men and not give them anything in return, but also be able to lead them? Like, am I crazy not to see the disconnect in that logic? And that's the whole thing. And I want to get back to the R. Kelly situation, because who was charged with protecting those little girls, the underage girls? Were those girls' parents, that girl's father? Like let's not get this confused. I know it's 2018 or 2019, I'm sorry, and we moved to a whole new life, and everything is, people think that it's this whole revolutionary new thought, new age movement. But let's keep it honest. Like, marriage, the reason for marriage in the old times, back in the days, I'm not talking about in your parents' days, your grandparents' days. I mean, in the ancient times, when people got married, it was for protection. It was essentially saying, sir, my daughter now, she's no longer under the protection of her father. She is now given to you, sir, to protect her. You are now charged with protecting my daughter. And that's true because, for example, I'm married to my wife, obviously. And if something happens to my wife, like, and she feels like she's threatened or some issue happened, her father lives, my wife's parents live about a mile or two away from us. What would her father think that if something happened to her, she would then call her father instead of me? That is not his job. Once her father walked her down the aisle and gave her to me, then it was now my job, my charge, my responsibility to protect his daughter and my wife. And that's now my responsibility. But in 2019, it's like females got it twisted and want to say, oh, I'm independent, I'm by myself, but I also want that same protection from that these women who are under a man, quote unquote, or are with a man, or are accepting a man's leadership, that they get. Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, there's certain things that my wife gave up the idea of, oh, I'm the independent woman, I can do whatever I want, and I don't have to consult any person when I make decisions. She exchanged those thoughts and those ideas for the protection of her man, the relationship that me and her have, the same way I had to exchange certain responsibilities, certain things that I, as a quote unquote independent man, had to exchange certain things to work into a relationship with a woman. But today, I think, specifically women have it kind of confused, where they feel that the average man owes the average everyday woman their protection. And I have completely 1,000% don't agree with that. What I would say is, especially like for my sister is under my protection up until she gets married, and my father has passed on, so I will more than likely hand her off to her man. And at that point, it is her man's responsibility to protect and take care of my sister. No other man's responsibility. Yeah, if she's at some place and a man is accosting her and something like that, and a man sees it, should he come in? Of course. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong, fellas. if you see something being done out there, of course, like, you know, I'm not saying you get a Clark Kent Superman outfit and, you know, but I'm saying you should, you know, ideally help out a person, period. If that's man, woman, child, whatever that could be, you should do that. But the idea that oh, it's just taken for granted. It's just, oh yes, a black man should be at any moment be willing to put his life on the line for a black woman. That idea is ridiculous. Because many of the women who believe those things do things and live lifestyles that is not even to be protected, to be honest with you. And I know that sounds ugly, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't support certain things. I can't be out there. I can't have Keisha out here. She want to do what she want to do. She want to be at the strip club, come home late, do whatever she want to do. She's not under any instruction of any man, period. And when a man tells her, hey, I don't think you should do that, that's a bad move, or you should be careful, I don't want to hear an independent woman. And then when something happens, though, God forbid, and Keisha's, you know, in a rough situation, then the man is still supposed to come in and save the day when she won't accept any instruction from the man? Come on, ladies. We got to keep it 1,000 right now. Let's keep it 1,000. We got to say what it is, either or. Like, either you're going to be the independent, I can do by my own, I don't need no man person, or you need a man. It's simple and easy. Like, we have to stop trying to highlight we have to stop get away from trying to merge the genders and everybody just be one person instead of roles. And that's a big thing that the modern day man and woman fight from today, is that we fight and try to, you know, get away from our roles. We don't want to be held accountable for anything. We don't want to say, as a man, this is my job, this is my responsibility. And because of that, also in turn, this is your responsibility as a woman, doing so and so. Everybody just wants to put everything up in the air and say, it is what it is, and see what happens. And that's an issue. That's one of the big issues. Like, if you want to be protected, you have to change your mindset. The idea is a lot of women don't even accept men leadership. How can you not accept male leadership and yet seek protection? Like, in what time period, in what example of history has there been where the person charged with protecting a group of people is going to just be they're going to be under them or see them as equal? Like, let's be honest with you. A woman is equal as far as we're all humans and things like that. But I'm not equal to a woman, and a woman's not equal to a man. I've never had a baby. I've never had my period ever in life. Never, believe it or not. So how can I say I'm equal to a woman by saying, oh, I never felt like how I felt to be a woman, but I'm equal to her? No, that's impossible. You're not equal to me, and I'm not equal to you. That's simple and easy. But I don't know. Today's society, we got the game all switched up. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of men out here that understand and know how to break this down. Because even like sometimes I hear women say like, oh, the black woman is the most oppressed woman. Like, to be honest with you, black women, again, we as black people are the most oppressed people. But in which way can you say that the black woman is the most oppressed woman? I mean, I'm sorry, not the most oppressed woman, the most oppressed between black men and black women. Like, I don't want to get the oppressed Olympics out here going, but like, come on, let's be honest. Like, if we just look at it fairly, like who's in jail, who's actually getting murdered at these high rates, all the things that we consistently talk about that is a proof of injustice right now, black men are leading at the highest percentages. So it's like, not to discount any struggle. Again, we need to focus on all struggles. That's why it irritates me when people try to turn it into, well, the black woman and rape and black men. And no, we need to focus on all oppression, essentially. But also, once one of us tries to change the conversation from black oppression to black woman oppression or black male oppression, then we need to get on code and call it out for what it is. Attention. That person is trying to get attention. That person no longer cares about black people. That person is trying to bring attention to their group, whether that's male or female. So we got to honestly get on code. And that's one of the big things that we need to do 2019 and going forward, is get on code. Like, yeah, that we all believe, again, R. Kelly is a sick pedophile son of a, but we can't have these people get on code and get us to mobilize every time they decide that we should be outraged. Like, there's no power and another group being able to control us emotionally. And that is essentially how I feel on that. It's not to nobody's trying to defend R. Kelly. People keep trying to say that, oh, you guys are defending R. Kelly, and that's just because you're not trying to be honest and try to view what the person's actually saying. So there's either you're defending R. Kelly or you're not. You don't understand that I don't give a shit about R. Kelly. If it was my decision, he would have gotten executed in the street. Sounds bad to say, but that's what would have happened. So I don't give a shit about R. Kelly, but I can see that it's bigger than R. Kelly, and that's all it is. And as far as the topic of something being bigger than what it's seen, I want to now transition into the Kevin Hart, Terry Crews little back and forth. So just to give you some brief background on what the Kevin Hart situation is, which I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this would already know. Kevin Hart recently got jammed up by the LGBTQ community for some old tweets that has surfaced, stating essentially he was saying some goofy stuff about his father, about his son being gay, and if he saw him gay or something like that. I think he used the word fag or something like that. Anyways, he has apologized multiple times. These tweets are old. He's constantly apologized, and they keep, putting him through this ritual of the black male embarrassment. That's a whole nother thing. But as far as today, let's keep going. So Terry Crews, Super Negro Terry Crews, Damon, comes out. It says, he basically says that he's going at Kevin Hart, telling him that the apology, I guess, wasn't enough. He needs to understand that he hurt people. There are people that the thing about it though is weird is that the last interview I saw with Kevin Hart was this interview that he had with Michael Strahan, big gap tooth mother. Anyways, yeah, he had this interview and he was like, Michael Strahan was really trying to press him on apologizing again or even speaking language. Kevin Hart started the interview off saying I'm done talking. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've constantly apologized. I'm over it. I'm trying to promote my movie. I'm on tour or whatever. And it's constantly and Michael Strahan keeps trying to bring it up different ways. And Kevin Hart. So I guess that the way that Kevin Hart was kind of came off in the interview was a little just irritated. And I'm assuming because of that, my man Terry Crews sees that interview and gets irritated and tries to come at the defense of the LGBTQ community, talking about how he basically talking about how Kevin Hart he has to understand that he hurt people and things like that. But my confusion in this, I don't really care about what Terry Crews is talking about, because I've heard this man apologize multiple times for this thing. And when he's saying that he's being attacked and another black man comes out and says, no, let me quote what this man says. Terry Crews, he says, he feels like he's being attacked, Crews says during an interview on BuzzFeed. But the truth is he's not. The truth is, Kevin, you're not being attacked. The truth is you just have to acknowledge what went on and acknowledge the pain of other people. That's all anybody's asking for. That's it. How many times has Kevin Hart apologized and spoke on this topic that we've seen since this happened, before this, since the Oscars thing? How many times? So again, when I see things like this, it makes me think what is Terry Crews' motivation? Because it's clear that what Kevin Hart's saying is true. He is being targeted. There's somebody that's going after him. He's already apologized. He's made multiple, he put multiple white flags out there. I've changed my perspectives, my mind, all this other stuff since that time. Yet he's still being what you have to understand, black folks, who I'm assuming mostly going to be listening to this. You have to understand when there is an agenda. You have to understand if it's an apology, if it's simply about apology, he already apologized. So what else if it's not about apology? He's already apologized multiple times. So if it's just about apology, why do they still want him to apologize? Food for thought. Black people don't think that critical. And then you come out, you got Terry Crews, who's been mixed up in this whole recent allegations. Let me put on my tinfoil hat, my tinfoil do-rag real quick. Do people not see any kind of link between the fact that Terry Crews recently got jammed up and tried to expose Hollywood's gay culture, and one of the big what is it, casting director guys, what is this guy, Adam Bennett or something like that? This guy just came off of that scandal, and you know what? He got lied. Once you start attacking homosexual Hollywood culture, boy, oh boy. See Corey Feldman. Anyways, yeah. So this man, you know, all of a sudden, LGBTQ super activist Terry Crews on the way. Just food for thought. Just food for thought, guys. You know, Terry Crews tried to expose the homosexuality. A man grabbed his penis in front of at a party and kind of been on freeze. We don't know what to do with him. We don't know where to cast him. Hey, out of nowhere, Terry Crews coming out talking about Kevin Hart apology wasn't enough and people are hurt and nobody's going after him when it's clear that people are going after him. Just food for thought, people. We gotta be careful. Not every black person is for us. That's another thing that we have to realize. Every time people see a black person, they just assume like, oh, you have to help them. You have to. No. Some of these people are poisonous, unfortunately. I say it all the time. We just, in California, had a gang shooting at a bowling alley. I think it was 2 or 3 people murdered. Some gang violence shit. Apparently some dude came out of jail, OG, like, dude killed 3 dudes. 2 of the cats had young babies at home. Like, I don't give a shit about that person. I don't give a fuck about gang members, all that kind of stuff like that. I won't help you. Like, I don't care nothing about you. You're the worst kind of person for the community. You're worse to me, honestly. I know it sounds controversial, but those people are worse than white supremacists to me, because you can look at a person that looks like you and still commit that same crime. To me, I don't understand. Based off of most times that person looking like you, you're looking for a person that look like you. Shit, that's a different level of self-hate. That's a different level. People want to say, oh, white on white crime and everybody commits different crime. Yeah, but shit, who goes out? I've been in places where I walk past a brother and seen that he just see me being a black man and just get angry and, you know, just a vibe switch, and I'm just like, what's up, bro? What is it about someone that looks like your cousin or your uncle that makes you this upset? But that's a whole deeper topic. We'll get on that as this podcast show, whatever, continues on. So those are some of the things I wanted to touch on. We're probably going to actually expand more on that tonight. I'm probably going to have my boy over, so we're going to dive more into the topic of the gender wars and keep that going. But as of for right now, appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate your time. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.